Good afternoon, podcast listeners. I'm Kat Johnson with the Travel Insider here at Expedia Cruises of OVC, and we have a special guest with us today. We have Sydney from Riviera Travel. Welcome, Sydney. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yes, it's first time for you. We're happy to have you and hear all about Riviera Travel. You guys have a huge, long history that I do want to delve into, but for anybody who hasn't heard about river cruising and might want to know the difference between river and ocean cruising, can you give us just a little update on what's different about river cruising?
hmm Absolutely. And I want to lead with river cruising is for absolutely everybody. So if you've gone on an ocean cruise, a lot of it is about the ship. And sometimes it's not even necessarily all about the destination. Also, the ships are massive. So there's always a lot to do on those. But what I love about river cruising is, and you can see just from the image here, it's a very intimate experience. I mean, our largest ship has 178 passengers. So you get to form some really incredible connections. But the biggest thing being that river cruising is one of the most immersive experiences you can have. It's personally my favorite way to see Europe because you're also still only unpacking once. But it takes you to those capital cities that you might be able to experience on an ocean cruise, but you get to spend more time in the destination. Sometimes you get an overnight in that destination. And then what I love the most is honestly about how it takes you sort of to the off the beaten path places. So capital cities, everybody wants to see them, but there's so many other destinations that people don't realize are right next to it. And so I always say if I'm docked in a city where I walk around and the signs don't translate to English, then I am in a good place. And that is a lot of what river cruising does. But again, just really sort of that more immersive experience and more intimate experience overall.
Well, and if I take a look at this map, all the different rivers in Europe, I think most people think of, train travel or flights going to Europe,
hmm
but I mean, there's so many rivers and they go through so many
hmm
different countries. You really get into the heart
hmm
of the places that you're going to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so super beautiful. And again, I mean, who doesn't want to be in the heart of Budapest? Look at how
I
amazing that
do.
is.
I do.
So, I mean, that's one of the major differences about river cruising, the smaller ships, the more intimate, being able
hmm
to get into those smaller ports. But also, there's a lot of inclusions, and you might need to kind of
hmm
move in and talk a little bit about Riviera itself. But can you talk about the difference on what's included in a river cruise?
Yeah, absolutely. And in general, river cruising does tend to be what we call sort of all inclusive, and everybody has their sort of levels of all inclusivity. Riviera does tend to go above and beyond when it comes to our inclusions. And so when you're thinking about a river cruise, a lot of the times you have your excursions included, one or two, your meals, your beverages. So it really varies on the river cruise line. I will say that Riviera is one of the most inclusive. So we do include all beverages from 10 a.m. to midnight. That's your beer, wine, and spirits. A lot of river cruise lines outside of Riviera, they do tend to have only beverages at mealtime or beer and wine at happy hour. But for us, we really want to stress the fact that we don't want you to take your wallet out again while on board. So we do include our excursions as well, at least one in every single port. We have all of our meals included. You have your Wi-Fi included. I mean, absolutely everything, so that once you get on board again, you don't have to take your wallet out. And that's a big thing that our travelers are looking for, is really that level of all inclusivity and the best price point for it, which is really at Riviera.
Now, what about when you get into port, when you're doing your shore excursions? Are shore excursions included in your fare as well?
Yes. So always at every single port, there's always a minimum of one excursion included, sometimes two. And if there are two, then typically one of those is an active excursion. And then in every port, we do have options to also upgrade your excursions. But I love the flexibility that Riviera has to offer as well. I mean, you can do all of the excursions. You can choose to not. If you're someone who's been to Budapest 8 million times, which I know there are some of you guys out there, then the day is yours. You can be guided, you cannot be guided. You have your free time, and that's another beautiful thing about river cruising.
Now, Riviera specifically has been around for a long time, but a lot of
Mhm.
Americans in general might not have heard of Riviera. So, do you want to give us a little bit of history, where you came from, what's going on, how you guys got to be where you are now?
I would love to. It's one of my favorite questions. One of my favorite questions to answer because everybody's still just learning about Riviera. But to your point, yes, we have been around. So Riviera has actually been operating over 41 years, and we are headquartered in the UK. So if you're just now hearing about us, that is more than likely the reason why. So it was only within the last like 2 or 3 years that we really expanded into the North American market, which is also a big reason why I love my job so much because I believe in this product. It's an incredible product. It's a great brand. And so as I continue to do things like this and, tell people about Riviera, uh, they just sort of, it's almost like they have that aha moment of why in the world did my travel advisor not tell me about this earlier? Because it really is that great of an experience. And also important just to point out that Riviera is the UK's leading river cruise line. So we're number one. Most of Europe knows who Riviera is. So it's not like we came to the States or we came to the States and it's a brand new line. No, we have 15 ships. It's an established brand and it's got a great customer satisfaction and repeat guest rating. So I'm very excited to be sort of opening everybody's eyes towards this wonderful product.
Yes, well, it is a wonderful product. You do have some unique features on Riviera. I know we talked a little bit about how inclusive Riviera Travel is, or Riviera River Cruises are. Obviously, your ships are beautiful. Is there anything
Mm.
else that sets you apart from maybe some of the other river cruise lines that are traveling in Europe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I, when I talk about Riviera, I say Riviera is the best value that the rivers have to offer. So one of our biggest sort of selling points outside of the fact that we are, fully all inclusive is at the end of the day, we are the upper premium experience. So if you're listening to this and you are familiar with some of our other lines, like we are very similar from an upper premium level to an AMA and an Avalon. However, we are priced more similarly to a premium product like a Viking. So really, you are getting the ultimate upper premium experience for that premium level price, which goes hand in hand with all of those inclusions as well. We're at a lower price point. We include more to your point, which I know we'll talk about the ships later on. They're absolutely stunning, stunning ships. But outside of that, and I know that we're going to talk about it a little later on, but we are absolutely number one for the independent traveler. So I'm excited to talk about that once we get there. But yeah, Riviera in general is the best value that the rivers have to offer.
Awesome. We don't have to wait any longer to talk about
We
your
don't?
ship.
Okay,
We
good.
can
I
talk
was
a
getting too
little bit.
excited anyways.
I have some lots of pictures of them because I know everybody wants to see what they look like on board. So give us a little idea of what the atmosphere is. What is your typical uh,
Mhm.
way to lay out the ship? How do people feel when they get on board?
Mhm. Absolutely. And so I would actually say that a lot of guests, it's if you've been on a river cruise, a lot of it's the size. So you think about how small the river cruise ships are, but when you walk on board and you see how they have it laid out and how
Oh, it's
elegant it
beautiful.
is. I mean,
Yes.
especially our newer ships, like the one in this photo where you have that sort of split level atrium, a lot of people just do not even realize what they're getting themselves into and how you can make a ship that is, going through small locks feel so large. I would say with Riviera, it's sort of when you step on board, it's the perfect mix of, upscale without being stuffy. So it's elegant, but it's not over the top. It's really that sort of immersive, just elegant experience. But again, you don't have that sort of stuffiness. For the most part, it's extremely welcoming. Everybody you meet on board is also trying to is excited to meet others as well. So there's a lot of socializing that some people don't realize as well. But ultimately, I definitely think it's sort of that elegant and it's important to say upscale, but without the stuffiness. Truly is one of the best ways to describe it.
Absolutely. And even in these couple pictures that we've seen, the windows, like windows everywhere. So at least if you
Everywhere.
decide to be on board, if you need to eat at some point in time while you're going down the river, you're not going to
You
miss
might.
anything.
And did I mention that the open bar starts at 10 a.m.? You don't have to
No,
wait.
no, you didn't. Now your upper deck too, because if you, we should talk about the gym because I know a lot of
It's
people
beautiful.
think
I
that they
know.
have to give up some amenities when they go on a river ship, but look at this gym. I mean, it's so cute. You can do everything you need
Mhm.
to do before you go to the bar at 10 a.m.
Yes.
So it's nice to know. I know there's a spa on board, there's the gym on board, and then
Mhm.
there's a pool too.
Yes. And the gym, I mean, I always say if you've not, after walking 8 miles, if you all day and you want to still hit the gym, by all means, but you'll find me in the massage studio, maybe the steam room, maybe the sauna. But yes, it's still available to you, and it's all included, of course, as well. But yes, every single ship has at least one sort of water feature on the sun deck because the sun deck is so important. And I think we're going to talk about that next,
Yeah,
right, Kat?
absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, so there's a beautiful pool on the top deck. I know that some ships don't have a big pool like this, but they do have some sort of a like a hot tub or something to cool
Hmm.
off in. This ship, though, I don't know
Oh,
if I would ever go to my cabin.
oh no, you can sleep up there. Absolutely.
So
This ship
beautiful.
is my favorite. So this is the Riviera Rose. And yes, this sun deck is incredible. So a lot of people, or a lot of other cruise lines, I wouldn't say they neglect the sun deck. I definitely wouldn't say that, but some of them, they don't realize how important of a part of a journey the sun deck is. Part of river cruising is you are sailing past castles and palaces and vineyards. And while you have all of these wonderful windows around, I would much rather be, and this ship actually sails down the Douro, so that is wine country. And so I always say I like to imagine my perfect day as coming back from my tours, grabbing my crisp glass of Sauvignon Blanc at 3 p.m. because I can and it doesn't cost extra, and sitting on that top deck and sailing through Portugal. I mean, that is absolutely one of the best ways to describe and sort of get people daydreaming and thinking about the experience that they can have on a river cruise ship.
Yes, absolutely. That is exactly where I would love to be as well. If
Hmm.
you do have to be in the cabin, I know we do have a couple images of the cabins available as well.
Hmm.
Do you want to talk a little bit? What type of cabin is this?
Yes, so this is your standard French balcony. So in general, our French balconies make up the majority of our ship. So they have that sort of wall right there. I will also add that our French balconies do tend to be about 23 square feet larger than some of our other premium competitors, who I won't mention any names. But having that smaller ship experience and then also having a larger cabin, to your point, no, you're not spending that much time in your cabin, but you definitely still want this sort of experience. I also have to add that every single cabin or suite has a coffee and tea making facility in it as
Oh,
well. So my other perfect day outside of my Sauvignon Blanc on the top deck is to wake up, get my robe and slippers on because that's also included, make myself a cup of coffee, and sit on the balcony and watch as you sail. That, whether it's ocean cruising, whether it's on a river cruise, that for me is something that is so important. And a lot of different cruise lines do not actually offer that on board. And sometimes it's those little details that really make the experience really worthwhile. Because for me, oh, it's absolutely incredible. But I'll get off track if I keep talking about all my
that's
daydreams.
okay. I did want to point out the bathroom because
Yes.
a lot of people worry about the bathroom. Is it going to be too small? Is it going to be too tight? Obviously, it's not going to be your giant mammoth bathroom, but this one's really nice.
It's beautiful. And if you're like me, the bathroom pretty much tells you like everything you need to know about your ship.
Yeah.
And this one tells me that the ship is beautiful. And this is just a bathroom for the standard French balcony. We do have superior suites, which have those French balconies, but they're much larger. So that bathroom's larger. And then we even have our grand balcony suites as well, which have those walkout balconies. And that bathroom is absolutely massive. But at the end of the day, no, there's no shower curtain sticking to you. You're able to walk around. You can get your blow dryer out, whatever you need to do, because that is also a very important part of cruising.
Absolutely. Now, we don't have a ton of time to go into all of the dining, but I do want to talk a little bit about dining on board because food is
Hmm.
important.
It is.
And your restaurants are absolutely gorgeous. Your food is
Hmm.
phenomenal, and beautiful too. I mean, that looks like a
Hmm.
beautiful restaurant that you would go out to in the city.
I know, I know. And so we do have some really, really great dining on board. Our chefs are from our local chefs, so we do have our chefs that do cook something for each region every single day. So you'll always have something to taste from whichever port that you are in. One thing I love about our ships, though, is they also have specialty dining restaurants included as well. So actually, the ships that we're looking right now, the Radiance, Resplendence, Reflection, they actually have two specialty dining options on board,
Wow.
and that is they are different cuisines as well. So they are open for lunch and for dinner. This is on top of the main dining room. and you do have to make a reservation in order to dine in them. But again, that's included. So if you are not going and having lunch and dinner in the ports, even though I highly encourage you to, if you're on a river cruise ship, you're already spending so much time in the dining room in those spaces. So even just having that change of scenery is really nice. It's just those extra spaces that make a smaller ship feel much larger.
Absolutely. Now, before we move into our new lightning round, which I'm super excited about, where I'm going to ask you a bunch of really hard questions, but they're really
Oh,
important.
super hard questions. Yes.
We do have to talk about solo cruising because solo cruising is really what sets Riviera Travel apart. I know there
Mhm.
are so many people who are like, I'd love to go on a cruise, but I don't really have anybody to go with. And you guys have the
Mhm.
answer.
Yes, we do. So if you are an independent or solo traveler, this is your time to tune in because Riviera has over 65 different solo exclusive sailings. So that is one person per cabin. However, a lot of these sailings are mixed in with a traditional itinerary. So the crew is remaining at full capacity. However, the guest count is at half capacity. So that crew to guest ratio, you are never going to see anything like it. But the really big kicker is every single one of these sailings has no single supplement. We want to respect the independent traveler. We want them to not be worrying about paying extra because, I mean, it's unfair when you board a ship and you have to pay double because it's just you in the cabin. So we've completely alleviated that problem. I also say at the end of the day, um, sometimes it's not about the supplement. Sometimes it's about the fact that river cruising is 90% couples. And so someone doesn't necessarily want to be on and surrounded by a bunch of couples. So I've actually said that Riviera is potentially turning into a matchmaking company at the same time, because I've now heard some really beautiful love stories of people meeting others on board one of our solo exclusive sailings. And I didn't realize how intense solo traveling was up until I started at Riviera, because we've actually got an entirely new solo exclusive ship coming out, which will do in addition to all of these other solo sailings. So we'll have 100 plus solo itineraries for everybody to enjoy. And again, there is no single supplement.
Now, the solo ship, when does that come
Mhm.
out? Is that
That comes out
2027?
in June of 2027. And the cabins are still going to be double occupancy sized. So it is still you're not in a smaller cabin just because you're independent. Nope, you still get that whole cabin to yourself, but this will provide more dates and options for our solo travelers outside of the ones that we have already.
Awesome. So if you are a solo traveler that happens to be listening, give your Expedia Cruises of OVC agent a call and they'll let you know which sailings currently have cabins on board that are solo, and then also the
Mhm.
solo ship. They'll help you pick out the right cabin and itinerary for that. So that's
Yes.
super exciting. Thank you for sharing about that. And now I want to go into our
Mhm.
lightning round. So
Yes.
how this is going to go is I have a bunch of questions I'm going to ask you that
Mhm.
are on every river cruiser's mind. And we want short, quick answers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so the best itinerary for first-time cruisers,
The Blue Danube has a little bit of everything.
the most scenic river in Europe,
Rhine cruise to Switzerland, easy.
the best journey for food or wine lovers,
Douro, Porto, Salamanca, absolutely best, the wine region.
the best Christmas market cruise.
Rhine, because you get to see multiple festive markets.
Oh, what best value itinerary?
Rhine cruise to Switzerland, because of all the stops and places that you get to experience on board. So,
Okay, the most underrated itinerary.
Douro, for sure. It's less crowded, but absolutely beautiful, blows people's mind.
The hidden gem. Would that be about the same one, or is there a different one?
So I would say it's specifically Salamanca, because a lot of people don't realize how beautiful Salamanca, Spain is. And that is part of our Douro, Porto, Salamanca river cruise. There's a bunch of different Douro ones, but that one, a lot of people don't realize just how energetic and lively Salamanca is.
The best time of year to river cruise.
Fall or spring.
Okay. One
Enjoy
thing
the
a
sun
river,
deck while you can.
one thing every river cruiser should know.
It's about the destinations. I would say it's absolutely about where you're going. Take advantage of all the destinations that you're going to be in, and definitely try and meet new people.
And the very last one, if you could take one river cruise in 2027, which one would it be and why?
Rhine cruise to Switzerland. Switzerland has been on my bucket list for a very, very long time. And that is just a place that I've wanted to go. And the Rhine cruise to Switzerland, it's fairy tale, it's castles. I'm all about the scenery. So that's an easy one. I'm actually trying to maybe plan it for myself next year and not work at the same time because I want to enjoy it that much.
Sounds awesome. Well, you have been a wealth of information. I think everybody wants to go on a Riviera travel, river cruise, especially to Europe, and especially on that beautiful ship.
I
So,
know.
if you are interested in booking your Riviera River cruise, please give your Expedia Cruises of OVC agent a call, and they will absolutely help you pick the best ship, best itinerary, and we will always involve Sydney if we have to. So, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been so fun having you.
So fun. Thank you so much, Kat. You're a fabulous host. Happy to be here always.
Thank you. Thank you to all my listeners. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.